What's up, you guys? Josh Tongol here. Today, I want to talk about how to use your subconscious mind to manifest wealth the Joseph Murphy way. Because once you learn the true secret to abundance and prosperity, then by the end of this, you'll be able to overcome any difficult financial situation you're in and start receiving more money into your life. And this is based on the classic book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. You see, according to Joseph Murphy, the problem is that a lot of people don't have what he refers to as invisible means of support. What does that mean? For instance, let's say your business fails, or the stock market drops, or you lose a bunch of investments. What do people usually do? They freak out and become helpless all of a sudden. Insecurity creeps in. Why? Because they're unacquainted, he says, with the inexhaustible storehouse within. They don't know how to tap into their subconscious mind. Think about this for a moment. Why are there some people who work a lot of hours a week, sometimes even overtime, still barely making ends meet? I mean, they're working their butts off, right? Yet they're still struggling financially. While there are others out there who work only a few hours a week, not striving, not slaving hard at all, yet they're doing really well financially. And Murphy talks about an executive he knew in Los Angeles who was making around $75,000 a year, which is pretty good, especially back in those days. And how there was this one year when that guy went on a 9-month cruise, traveling and seeing some of the world's most beautiful spots. Now, was that guy just freaking lucky? Some would think so. But here's what's interesting. The guy told Murphy that the other people in his organization actually knew more about business than he did and could even manage it better too, yet they were only getting about $100 a week. They had no ambition, no creative ideas, and they weren't interested, he says, in the wonders of their subconscious mind. So why did this guy end up making way more money than the others? You gotta get this, folks. He told Murphy that he succeeded in convincing his subconscious mind, listen, that he's worth that much money. That he's worth that much money. That's the secret. Look, I believe that everyone in this world is valuable and worthy of having and experiencing wonderful things. You know what I'm saying? But what many don't realize is that in life, you don't get what you deserve. Okay? You don't get what you deserve. You get what you think you deserve. That's what changes everything. So if you're always having financial difficulties, and if you're always trying to make ends meet, and I know this can be hard to hear, but it means that you haven't convinced your subconscious mind that you'll always have more than enough. Did you hear that? Not just enough, but more than enough. So you can actually have extra to help other people. Don't believe the story, he says, that the only way you can become wealthy is by the sweat of your brow and hard labor. It's not true. It's not true. Rather, believe the story that says that the effortless way of life is the best way to go. Do what you love to do and do it for the joy and thrill of it. That's the way to truly live. You guys, you don't gotta slave hard, trust me. And Murphy busts a joke saying that trying to accumulate wealth by the sweat of your brow and hard labor will definitely make you rich, all right. You'll become the richest person in the graveyard. Good one. Nice to know these guys have a sense of humor. And yo, as for myself, for years people thought I was crazy for not having a 9 to 5. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not against having a 9 to 5 per se if you're doing something that you love. But I always ask people, what the heck do you do if you lose your job and you've got payments due soon? Then what? And then they realize how dependent they are on external things for their security. So if they didn't have them, they'd be screwed, or at least they think they would be. See, throughout my life, I've been in many situations that would make quote-unquote realistic people very uncomfortable, for real, where I've said yes to things not knowing how I'd get the money. I took so-called risks in business. And what I've discovered through experience, and not just by reading a bunch of books, is that Murphy's right. The true source of wealth is found within, not outside of you. Wealth is simply a subconscious conviction. It's a mindset. He says that you're not going to become a millionaire by saying, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. Now, dude, you'll grow into a wealth consciousness by building into your mentality the idea of wealth and abundance. Remember, it's all about what you're conscious of being. If you have a poverty mindset, then you'll find yourself in poverty-stricken conditions. If you have an abundance mindset, then you'll be surrounded with everything you need, plus more. Life was never meant to be one of extreme poverty. Folks, the block to wealth is between your ears. It's your own mind. Look at the people who are always trying to make ends meet. They're constantly struggling to meet their obligations. Why is that? And if you really listen closely to their conversations, in many instances, Murphy says that you'll notice them condemning others who have succeeded in life and who have much. And that's why people struggle with lack. They're condemning the very thing they desire and want. They're envious of other people's prosperity because they don't have it, which is why he says that the quickest way to cause wealth to take wings and fly away is to criticize and condemn others who have more wealth than you do. Don't do it. Envy's a powerful emotion that'll make wealth flow from you instead of to you. So if you see someone making more money than you, like a friend or a colleague, or even your competitors, then instead of being jealous of them, be happy for them. Seriously, wish prosperity for them. You might not feel it at first because you might be freaking annoyed or irritated, but you can start claiming and saying something positive, like wishing them greater wealth in every possible way. And what this does is that it'll neutralize the negative thoughts in your mind and cause an even greater measure of wealth to flow to you. But what if they're doing something shady and making money in a dishonest way? Don't worry about it. That's not your concern. Let the law take care of them. Your job is to be on good mental terms with everyone. It's like what I explained in another video. Your thoughts are like a boomerang. Remember, wish the best for others and it'll come back to you, guaranteed. Okay, so the question I'm sure you're wondering is, what can you do to experience wealth and success in your life? Murphy shares the ideal method for building wealth consciousness. You ready? Here's what you do. For 5 minutes, 3 to 4 times a day, repeat to yourself, wealth, success. Wealth, success. You might be like, you're kidding. Nope. These words have tremendous power. They represent the inner power of the subconscious mind. And as you anchor your mind on the substantial power within you, then the conditions and circumstances corresponding to their nature and quality will be manifested in your life. Notice you're not saying, I am wealthy. You're dwelling on real powers within you. There's no conflict in the mind when you just say wealth, right? And as you keep saying and dwelling on the idea of wealth, guess what? The feeling of wealth will start rising up within you. And what have I said over and over in many of my videos? The feeling of wealth produces wealth. So as you go to sleep tonight, he says to repeat the word wealth quietly, easily, and feelingly. You gotta feel it. Do this over and over again like a lullaby. So you'll fall asleep to that one word, wealth, and be in that state of consciousness. And dude, you'll be amazed by what'll happen. He says that wealth should flow to you in avalanches of abundance. And I understand that some of you hearing this might still be skeptical, and I get that. Because for some of you, your money and wealth affirmations didn't seem to work. And Murphy has a response to this, in that the usual complaint he would hear is that for weeks and months, people would say things like, I am wealthy, I am prosperous, but then nothing would happen. Okay, there are at least 2 possible reasons for this. The first reason, he says, could be that you didn't get the results you wanted because after you consciously affirmed your positive statements, 10 minutes later, you mentally denied them by indulging in fearful thoughts, which therefore neutralized the good you had affirmed. Is this making sense? And so this happens with people who think saying positive affirmations all throughout the day is enough without monitoring the rest of their thoughts. And then bam, it backfires on them and they don't even know why. When you place a seed in the ground, he says, you don't dig it up, you let it take root and grow. The second possible reason you're not getting results can be explained by what I alluded to earlier. And a perfect example of this is that there was this one guy who told Murphy that he had affirmed that he's prosperous, even to the point of getting tired. And things actually got worse for him because he said that he knew, listen closely, that when he made the statement, that it obviously wasn't true. In other words, he felt deep down inside that he was lying to himself. And because his statements were rejected by the conscious mind, he manifested the very opposite of what he outwardly affirmed and claimed for himself. You see, affirmations work best when they don't produce a mental conflict or argument, or else they're going to make things worse. Don't forget, your subconscious accepts what you really feel to be true, the dominant idea or belief, not just the empty words or statements you make. It's like praying for money, but being more conscious of your lack. Look, you don't get what you want or what you say. Ultimately, you get that which you are conscious of being. All right, so how do you avoid some sort of mental conflict then? Once again, the best time to state your affirmations is when? As you're going to sleep, right before knocking out. Because then it won't contradict your subconscious mind's impressions of financial lack. There'll be no argument. And as you fall asleep, say, by day and by night, I'm being prospered in all of my interests over and over again. Or if you're not going to bed and you're at work, during your break, just find a comfortable spot to sit down and become quiet and repeat the statement, my sales are improving every day. Try it. And many of you probably don't know this, but I used to have a business totally unrelated to my speaking gigs and writing books. And when sales were slow, what I do is I'd imagine and affirm positive statements of wealth. And literally the next day, no joke, the sales would increase. In fact, I remember this one time doing this and I had a dream. And in the dream, I saw a particular number of sales we had made. And it was a huge spike because during that time, our sales were consistently low for a period. And lo and behold, when I woke up in the morning and checked our account, I literally saw the exact same number that I saw in the dream. Dope stuff. So if you have a business, he suggests saying these words: my sales are improving every day. I am advancing, progressing, and getting wealthier every day. It's kind of long for me, maybe for you too. So say it in your own words, of course, something that feels more natural to you. Another thing he talks about is to stop writing blank checks. Here's what he means. Stop saying things like, there's not enough to go around, or there's a shortage, or I'll lose a house because of the mortgage. You ever say those things? If so, don't. Because he says that such statements actually magnify and multiply your loss. Pretty much any fear about the future is writing a blank check and attracting negative conditions to you. Because your subconscious mind takes your fear and negative statement as your request, and it proceeds in its own way to bring obstacles, delays, lack, and limitation into your life. All right, real talk. Now, there are some of you listening to this who are really struggling right now financially, where your debt's piling up, it's been tough paying your bills, or you've been fighting with people you love over money because of stress, whatever it is. And you know what? I've been there, you guys. Trust me, I've been there. And what I want to say to you is this: don't give up, okay? Don't give up. And back in the day when we used to struggle with money, I'd always ask why? Why is this happening? But everything changed for me, just like the guy shared about in the beginning, when I convinced myself that I'm worth it, that I deserve more. And when my thoughts changed about my worth and about money and prosperity, my circumstances changed and followed. Stop relying on things outside of you. You have an invisible means of support. Folks, whatever you need, the treasure house, as he likes to say, is within you. Convince your subconscious mind that wealth is yours. Convince yourself. Decide to be wealthy the easy way. Choose it. Because when you do, it'll always be circulating in your life effortlessly. Straight up, you'll always have more than enough, no matter what. Remember what I said in my last video. Murphy's rule of thumb is to never finish a negative statement. So if you start saying something negative, then catch yourself and reverse it immediately. Like if you're about to say, I won't be able to make that payment, before getting any further than saying, I won't, stop the sentence and dwell on a constructive statement instead, such as, by day and by night, I'm prospered in all of my ways. Flip it. Think of your subconscious mind as like a bank, he says, a sort of universal financial institution where it magnifies, it multiplies whatever you deposit or impress upon it, like compound interest, whether it's the idea of wealth or of poverty. To the one who feels wealth, more wealth will be added. To the one who feels lack, more lack will be added. So every morning as you're waking up, deposit thoughts of prosperity, success, wealth, and peace. Dwell upon these concepts all throughout the day. And when you go to bed, you do the same. Repeat to yourself, wealth, success, over and over again. Totally immerse yourself in the state and then watch. Murphy says that these constructive thoughts will find their way as deposits in your subconscious mind and bring forth abundance and prosperity because you get what you believe. Yeah. Alrighty, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do me a favor, like and share it, or if you're listening via podcast, I'd really appreciate a review. It gets more people to discover my work and, of course, help spread this message. And I'd love to hear your experiences or questions in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button and the bell right next to it to be notified of my next video. I pump these out every single week, so you don't want to miss them. And don't forget to register for my free online training where I dive deeper into how you can start manifesting the life you really want right now. So check it out. The link's in the description. Like I always say, more's coming. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.